So today we will attempt to pacify those fiery, angry Pitta people. And so Pitta, when out of balance, can have several inflammation spots in their body, especially in the GI, so heartburn, ulcers, gastritis, some diarrhea, a lot of skin issues like acne and eczema and rashes, and a lot of liver stuff too. And in terms of emotions, they can be very angry, very explosive, controlling, jealous, judgmental. But when they're in balance, they're very driven and motivated and great leaders and life of the party and joyful. And so basically to pacify Pitta, they need moderation, coolness, and surrender. They have to let go, stop controlling, and moderate everything. Moderate their exercise, their mental stimulation, their amount of work, their amount of strain, and their portion sizes, because Pittas are very hungry people. And then they want to make their decisions based on their heart rather than their mind. They tend to be very logical and reason-driven people, and so they should, when they are aggravated, kind of take a step back and try to decide things. What does my heart want? So let's go through a day that would be balancing for Pitta. So they should wake up with the sun around 5:30 and do a meditation practice, something that, calms them down, whatever it is. They can choose whatever. And then do their morning routines, such as scraping the tongue, brushing the teeth, swishing oil, oiling their body. But the oil that they're going to use is coconut oil, which is much more refreshing than the warming sesame oil for Vatas. And then they can drink some water. It can be warm, definitely not hot, but it can also be room temperature. You would not want to put a lot of lime and lemon. A few drops would be okay because the citrus flavor is not good for Pittas because of all that heartburn, the tendency to be a little bit more acid that they have. So then they want to exercise. Pittas want to exercise either really in the morning when it's cooler or a little bit at night when it's cooler. So swimming, they can do yoga postures such as the moon salutation, which is much more cooling than the sun salutations, which are more warming. And then they have a nutritious but moderate breakfast. Having a mid-morning snack around 10 a.m. because they tend to be very hungry and get hangry when they are aggravated. Their lunch should be between 12 and 12:30. It's important for Pittas to always have lunch at the same time. And then their dinner should be around 7 to 8 p.m., a little bit later than Vatas. And then after dinner, it's important for them to take a walk outside when it's cool and do some moon bathing, because the moon is very cooling, very pacifying for Pittas, especially in a nice full moon. It's very cool for Pittas to go outside, kind of put a chair outside if they want and look at the moon, stare at the moon bathe when they are aggravated. What else? They should go to bed between 10 and 11, so a little bit later than Vatas. And they should drink plenty of detoxifying teas during the day because they tend to be a little bit more liver issue prone. So dandelion, the CCF tea, which is cumin, coriander, and fennel, is great for them. And they want to avoid competitive environments in sports, at work, at home, arguments, discussions. Just when you're aggravated, kind of you want, because Pittas are drawn to that, but when you are aggravated, that will just make that worse. So kind of like, not for me right now. Go back to your cave. The best essential oils and fragrances, aromas for Pittas are jasmine, gardenia, rose, mint, chamomile, and vetiver. And then we want to use cold water. If you're very nervous, you can use cold water in between meals as medicine. Mia's scratching the door. So Ayurveda, like I said before many times, does not like us to drink cold water ever because it dampens the digestive fire. But Pittas, when they are aggravated, they tend to have a lot of fire in them. So cold water would be okay in between meals. for them. So moderate serving sizes, don't skip meals, have a regular eating schedule, and if fasting is desired, they can do juice fasts, which is very cooling and refreshing for them. And then the flavors that are good for pitas are sweet, bitter, and astringent. Bitter flavors are very good detoxifiers, so all the green bitter vegetables are great for the liver, so they can have plenty of that. Astringent, it's kind of hard for us to picture, but pomegranates, anything that leaves your tongue kind of feeling like you ate a green banana is astringent. And the legumes, beans, tend to be very astringent, so they're good for pitas. Root vegetables are good. Mangoes, melons, apples, pears are good. Refreshing and cooling foods, fresh or lightly steamed, lightly sauteed, cooked foods are good for pitas. Plenty of beverages throughout the day. And then the spices are mint, dill, wintergreen, peppermint, spearmint, and cumin are very cooling for pitas. And then they should avoid sour and citrus foods, too much fat, too much oil, salt. So salt kind of burns. Too much spicy food, cultured products, fermented products, stimulants such as caffeine, alcohol, red meat. Red meat is something that in Indian culture, it's said to like make you more angry. So for pitas, they should stay off of it when they are very aggravated. And definitely spicy foods, stay away. So breakfast, an example would be like a yogurt with berries. Lunch would be some root veggies with some fish, and then plenty of green bitter veggies, whatever they like. And then for dinner, they can have a grilled vegetable salad with some baked chicken. Don't bake the chicken too hard and dry for pitas because dryness is like fire, so that would kind of aggravate them. So make it juicy. And then they can snack on pomegranates, rice pudding, rice cakes with some soft cheeses, so a little spread of goat cheese would be okay for pitas. And there is a pranayama, which is a breath work that is good for pitas, which is very cooling. So remember, for vatas, it would be the alternate nostril breathing. For pitas, it's good for you to do sitali, which is the cooling breath, and you would inhale with your tongue curled. And you can see that the air comes in very cold, and then you can exhale through your nose. And if you can't do this, because some people genetically can't, you can just touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and inhale like that, and it still cools the air for you. And so that was it for pitas, and then the next video will be about kaphas.